Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. This is my old client and friend's Aquascape Escape Line 100 that we set up about 7 months ago, and it's really great to see it mature. See Brad, of course, have some lovely home cooked lunch. But this video, I want to give you an update on the actual scape, how it's grown in, but also some of the things that we can maintain and help improve the overall look, the overall composition. Brad's a little bit reluctant to thin out the sword leaves, so we'll take him through that, hoover off some of the soil, thin out some of the crypts, take care of some of the Starogini, maybe thin out the Anubias a little. So lots to do, and I'll do a before and after, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. I'm excited, Brad. Are you?
I'm very excited, and it's been great watching it grow.
Yeah. What's been the biggest surprise, would you say, you've had with it?
Just, I think part of it is watching it grow into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And just, I quite like the natural style of it, and it just turning into a bit of it goes where it wants to go. And part of it is kind of exercising my patience a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just being patient and watching things turn out well, not panicking. It's been overall beautiful all around.
Yeah. You've been quite diligent on the maintenance, have you? Like once a week?
Once a week, 50% all the time without fail.
Yeah.
I think one of the only things I haven't done is properly vacuum the sand at the bottom, but that's because there's so many shrimp. I'm really concerned that I'm gonna...
You do, what I do is just put my finger over the end and then just wave your finger as you're doing it, and then they sort of scoot out the way, hopefully.
That's a great tip. Okay, yeah. So I did it at the start, and then the 3 that you bought me turned into about 100.
And you can always, like doing a bucket, and you can always net them out anyway, if you do catch them.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they do breed really well in our water.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to give it a good, not transform it, but really kind of send it on another path, because at the moment it's just getting denser and denser and denser. There's no real like strong theme in the composition at the moment. There's a lot of plants that aren't really seen that could be. This is like super dense here, these sword leaves here.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to look at the composition as a whole and think what's the most important thing that needs doing first, and that's the sword leaves. So some of them are really overgrown, they're draping across the surface. There's quite a lot with holes, damaged leaves. Basically any swords that are huge, overgrown or less than perfect, we can get rid of them and work your way down in levels of seriousness. So the worst looking leaves, focus on those first. So I mean, this is huge and it's got like loads of holes in it. So just run your hand all the way to the bottom. I mean, you could siphon some water out first in case you spill over the side, but it's okay. And there we go. That's the first one done. And then you just keep repeating that process now.
Anything damaged?
Yeah, and don't be afraid. By doing this, you're actually encouraging more healthy growth. And it's just refreshing the whole. It kind of just like a little mini reset, like a soft reset.
Yeah.
Shedding, literally shedding old leaves to grow new ones. And that's why I like aquascaping with rosette plants, because they're more sustainable. You get more of the aesthetic value, like for longer versus stems, because the stem grows more. It changes its height more rapidly, so you're spending more time controlling that to get the same, visual effect as a rosette. Whereas when you look at a rosette plant, you kind of looking at the final mature sort of size where it will stay quite stable. And then once it's there, which it is now, you just control it just by thinning out the leaves, and it's evergreen, literally. the plants will just keep regenerating new leaves.
I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you, in terms of soil depletion, I've heard that it can deplete over time.
Yeah.
And some people recommend root tabs and stuff, but
yeah.
What's your view on is it, am I going to have to put root tabs in at some point, or?
You could try it. I mean, it's not going to do any harm, but if you're feeding liquid fertilisers every day and you're not experiencing any nutrient deficiencies, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay. The plant will just grab the nutrients where it can.
Yeah.
It's worth experimenting though, because some plants will show different characteristics depending on if they're being more heavily root fed or water column fed.
Yeah, okay.
So just, you'll only ever find out for real if you try it,
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's like a two-way door, it's like a decision that doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's not like a huge risk by adding root tabs or not, so just try it and then learn from it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is my advice. They're not that expensive, are they, root tabs?
No.
Recently I've noticed huge differences between dosing nitrate phosphate and no nitrate phosphate.
Okay, you more like red colours and stuff for certain plants?
Yeah, if you want red colours, in general the no nitrate and phosphate works really well. But then you'll see like more pale green growth on the other plants.
Yeah.
Because they're literally starving of nitrogen. So it's all about balancing what you're optimising for. You're optimising for the most beautiful red colour, or you're optimising for the healthiest plant, with green.
Yeah, for me it's health and lush. I mean, like if this thing was all green without any yellow at all, that would be it. I certainly don't. I just like a lush overgrown forest, really.
And when you get a tank to a certain level of maturity, which this one is now, you can be really quite bold with stuff because it is so mature. It can take a lot of thinning back or whatever. Whereas if you do it in a newer system, it hasn't matured or it's not stable enough, you start messing around like this, and it can cause a little bit of disruption, and that tends to lead to algae. So would you be confident taking leaves out now?
I have done a few.
Oh yeah, I've done already, yeah.
In terms of you educated me before about using your nail and stuff right down the bottom.
Yeah.
But I think my nervousness was around how brutal and how much can you do.
Yeah.
And, before you start hurting the plant, but obviously it's established it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. And especially if you're removing any damaged leaves, because you're actually doing the plant a favour. Because if you don't remove it and it's damaged, the plant's going to want to repair itself, and then that sends loads of energy to that leaf. But it's better using the energy to grow a new one. Plus, you get the benefit of growing it from small, so you have that overall new wave of growth.
Yeah, like it was when you first put them in.
Yeah. Because it's never, it's the beautiful thing about a living aquascape, it's never static.
No.
Every day it looks a little bit different.
It does bring you so much joy. Just you come home from work and sit there and just watch the fish and the plants interact.
Yeah. So we've moved at least 20 leaves there, I think.
Is that all from the lift?
Already, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hardly visually it's not really made an impact. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important, if you don't remove the oldest, biggest ones, they're just basically blocking the light and the circulation from the younger leaves that need it. So it's like the constant cycle of rebirth. You get rid of the oldest, most energy inefficient thing, and then by removing that, you allow the plant to grow, put its energy into something new and more vibrant, and then the cycle continues. So in like a 2-year period, you might not have any of the original leaves that started with that plant when you had it.
Yeah.
but it's still the same plant.
But
there's nothing.
Regenerating growth.
So.
What you're saying is, if you don't get rid of the old, then you're just going to waste energy.
Yeah, and you could keep it alive, you know, for a long time, but it just wouldn't be. It wouldn't look as vibrant, you know. It wouldn't.
There's only so much nutrients you can take if it gets too big, right? You're going to just dump in a bottle a day to keep it.
Exactly. You know, if the plant is starting to struggle, if it starts to sort of decay and the plant tissue starts to die back, it releases like sugars into the water that attracts snails and algae.
Yeah.
So you've got loads of Hygrophila here trying to come through. Can you see?
Yeah.
So
I trimmed them back a little bit.
Yeah.
So wasn't quite sure whether you said that they were probably temporary plants.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I think it adds a little bit of nice sort of texture.
Break,
yeah. And the sword's, you know, shading them a bit, so it's not going too quickly. I haven't counted how many leaves, but it's probably going to be 100 by the time we're finished.
I might have neglected the maintenance a little bit on these ones.
That's all right. It's a good way to learn, though. It shows, you know, and hopefully it shows you nothing to be afraid of by just.
No, and that was it. Just, you know, I knew it needed a lot, but you kind of do 20. You think, right, is that enough? I mean, they're going to cause damage, so it's good to see that you can be quite bold with it.
Yeah. I'm quite ruthless in mine. If I see any leaf that's got a hint of any damage or pale growth, it's just gone, yeah. Or if it's starting to look, they start to change their texture a bit once they get really old. They
crispy.
Yeah, they get really like I want to say like a rough texture, and I think that's when you know it's time to get rid of it.
Another benefit is I might actually get to see the fish a bit more. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got quite a variety, haven't you?
I find it difficult. I mean, I think when you were first here, we discussed just having some cardinals and some angels. But
yeah.
Then my little brain starts thinking, oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the little honey gouramis. I think they're fantastic, especially in their personality.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
That's part of the fun. It's bigger.
Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, it's big enough to have, you know, 250 litres, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Waiting for the water bill to come in and find out what it's like.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 litres a month, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I do about 120, 140.
It's only 4 baths.
But I wouldn't have any other way. It's just, you know,
No.
everyone who comes in the house, especially the young people, like some of Ed's friends,
Yeah.
they just sit there just staring at it.
That's cool. Yeah, it's not if this is like, you know, stirs some inspiration in someone that a lot of people haven't seen a decent aquascape in their life. The only way they've experienced aquariums is if, you know, winning a goldfish at a fair and then buying a really cheap aquarium and failing and then being put off forever. That's the work, you know, that's kind of.
Yeah.
But if they can see something like this and see that you can create something that's absolutely beautiful, you know, the fish are so healthy. You know, the plants look amazing. Are they surprised it's real plants?
I have had a couple ask, "Are them plants real?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a memory of 3 of them all on their knees, just looking into the tank, and you think, well, you've definitely accomplished something there, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that one on the bottom right is repins, isn't it?
This one,
Yeah.
Starogani Rapins.
Rapins.
Yeah.
And that is a classic case of overshading. That's why it's suddenly all got leggy. And
I think, yeah, pretty much.
we're doing all right, I think.
What's that? The Saragini.
No, the Anubias one at the top.
Oh yeah, I mean it's really healthy. It just looks a bit odd because it's such a big lump. Do you know what I mean?
That's my contribution to art.
Yeah. How did you do that? Right, this will be interesting. See if this recovers a bit. And then you can see the Anubias leaves with holes in.
Yep.
You could just remove those.
What causes that? Is that just old age?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be shrimp nibbling.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's no need.
It's not always a nutrient deficiency or something like that.
No, I mean the plant itself is very healthy. It could even be like early tissue damage when the leaf was tiny, and then it could have grown with it. If you know what I mean. You never know really.
And how's that one doing? Because that one looks a bit raggedy. Is that its normal look?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It's never seemed happy.
No, I struggle with Bucophalangia in general in my tank, so you know you might just have.
Same water.
Yeah. But just be patient. It might come around eventually.
It's definitely improved. So there's promise in it. So
Yeah.
It just was like shriveled and horrible at one point, as in nothing. And recently starting to.
Yeah, you can just sort of encourage it a bit. You know, just spread the leaves away apart.
When I was going through the algae phase, that one, the grass like in the centre, that was absolutely. I thought that was going to have to go.
Yeah.
It was covered, and then suddenly it just grew its balance and fall back.
It's funny, isn't it? How once it.
It literally, I mean, like people saying, you got to get rid of it, and I was on the cusp of getting rid.
Yeah.
And it literally fought back, and that is still there now, how it is.
Yeah. They'd be afraid to give them a good old stroke.
Yeah, okay, kind of like just put them into position almost.
Yeah.
With the like Anubias leaves and stuff, is that the same thing? Use now just to
Yeah.
put a cape.
Yeah, it's a bit more. It's a bit more robust than a crypt leaf, but same principle. Almost looks like a monstera plant. This one, with all the holes in it. Look at.
It's a little bit holy, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh. So this you can just sort of comb out.
Is that looking healthy as well?
Yeah, most of it. Yeah. Dodgy leaf there. And then this will do better, sort of. Yeah, you want to kind of show this off a bit more, I'd say.
I think what happened with that was, we had the floating
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
It was Brad's random approach of putting stuff back that
Yeah.
saw it where it was.
Just going to move that Anubias there because that doesn't need so much light as the fern. And then stick the fern. It's going to get a load more light.
Do they like the light in ones?
Yeah, ferns do. Yeah, especially if we've got good CO2.
Right, okay.
And then that wood can creep over that stone there. So that hopefully that fern's going to sort of cascade over.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
encourage the hygrophila.
That seems quite a power leaf plant. Is that how it normally looks?
Yeah, it's quite nutrient demanding actually. Plus you've got the swords as well. They're quite hungry.
Yeah.
So they're kind of competing with each other. In the long term, you could replace it with another stem. Okay, so there we have it. The Brad's Aquascape is now fully maintained, except 50% water change, which Brad's going to do later. So, yeah, very simple. We removed loads of sword leaves, probably about 100 or so. We brought some of the hygrophila into play here, which was kind of getting smothered by the sword leaves. Moved a lot of the Anubias. We had a big bunch up here, which I split up into different plantlets, dividing it at the rhizome, and then I've placed it around the gravel and the rocks. Thinned out and moved the trident fern a bit. Thinned out the crypts a little bit. Removed all of the dying off staragine. Hopefully, by thinning the sword leaves, that's going to allow for more root penetration, light penetration to get to the staragine. If that doesn't work, I'd just remove it completely and then just put more Vietnam or smaller crypts around there maybe. But yeah, it looks beautiful. Really, really pleased to see Brad enjoying it. How long are you spending on it a week?
It's probably between 2 and 4 hours, depending.
Nice.
Definitely on a Saturday, it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of scrubbing, but it's beautiful. We all enjoy it. It's a fantastic piece of nature in your home.
It is, isn't it?
The fish love it. You can see how happy the fish are. I mean, look at them going across there.
Yeah, they're honey gouramis, are they?
They're honeys, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Do you find the evaporation annoying?
I was surprised how much it evaporates.
Yeah, to
honestly.
get like the mark behind, don't you?
Yeah, and honestly, it's probably about 10 litres a week or something. It's really a lot of evaporation.
I think that's the biggest downside about rimless tanks, isn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it any other way because I've got that one out there. It's just not the same. Beautiful. Thank you, George.
Pleasure, mate.
I've learned, it's not just thank you, but thank you, and also I've learned a lot that
You can apply now.
I can apply and move forward and be a bit more bold and be a bit more brave.
Yeah, I like passing that knowledge on to the. It's all well and good. I mean, a lot of people do the installation and then they'll do the maintenance as well for the client. But it's better to, as they say, teach a man to fit, give a man some fish or give him a fishing rod.
Teach a man how to fish, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That old classic.
Yeah.
Teach a man to fish.
Teach a man to aquascape.
But no, that's really kind of practical, tangible stuff that I could use. So.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to siphon.
It makes such a difference. I was like so nervous about doing that, and you spent about 8 minutes to look at it.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to thin out the leaves.
No, it's going to be part
Just
of the routine.
Do it every week. Yeah.
Every week, find something that's kind of not looking great.
Yeah.
Take it out.
That's it, mate. Cool.